All right. Just wanted to say hi to everyone that's here today. And my name is Ruby. I am currently in California, and I'll tell you more about myself. But before that, good morning from chilly California. Well, it's chilly here for my tropical bones. Okay, before I tell you more about myself, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat box. Tell us your name, what you do, and where you're from. Now, I won't be able to see your response in the chat box yet until later because of the way my equipment is set up. But I welcome you all to this presentation. Thank you so much. I saw Adam. I know Adam is here, and I missed the other ones that came in. I so appreciate your being here today. And because I have a long presentation and there's so much that I packed in today's training, I like to begin now. So we know that these days it's not enough to simply have an online presence. You need to stand out, right? But as we know, those of us that are online, it is a very, very crowded space where everyone is elbowing others in for visibility. So how do you stand out? That's actually the question, key question for today. In this training or presentation, I am going to unpack the answers to that question as it applies to writing long-form contents that we call blogs, and yes, social media posts. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. And you know this already, all participants are on mute. If you have questions during this presentation, please feel free to write it in the chat box. Just look for the talk bubble icon. It's at the bottom right side of your screen that says chat. Now, this training is recorded. Em and I will have a copy of this presentation later, and I will also send all registered participants a copy of the link or the link itself so you can review it. And then towards the end of this presentation, we will have 10 to 15-minute Q&A. So you can process whatever we will go through. And lastly, and you know this too, one lucky participant will have the chance to pick my brain on this particular topic. Just keep your eyes peeled for an announcement by this Friday on my LinkedIn profile. So don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. All right. So who am I? I am a lifelong learner, and my experience in SEO and content optimization dates back to the day I got involved in social media marketing. That's over a decade. Now, as a very small social media and content marketing company operating in a highly competitive landscape, it's paramount that the content we create stands out from the crowd to increase the connection between our brand or our clients and the target audience. So we get small companies, the pain that you have to stand out. We strive to go beyond just writing content if we want to get seen among the wave of digital noise. To do so, we always endeavor to produce optimized content to get the attention it deserves. So what to expect? I'll cover two key aspects of optimization. One aimed at enhancing search engines results using blogs, and the other directed at optimizing for alternative search engines, also known as social media platforms. This is how this lesson is going to be structured. I will talk about the why, underscoring the current situation on why you should bother making sure your content is optimized for that platform. And then the how. I will give you tips on how to optimize your content so it gets seen by your audience, whether that's a blog or on social media. Now, expanding on the how, we're going to flesh out Google's preferred approach. And they have a term for it. It is called people first content. I'll explain the implications of this concept specifically as it pertains to crafting content for search engines and social media. It's worth noting that having a good grasp of SEO, even just the basic grasp of it, can greatly benefit your social media efforts. And by the way, you do not have to be an expert. And I will show you how in a little bit. Now, furthermore, I'll be sharing with you evergreen tips way back when I started that have withstood the test of time. Having successfully navigated through various changes in Google search algorithms. So these are white hat tricks, okay? There are black hat tricks. We won't do that. We will do white hat tricks. Now, these tips have even gone through the latest major core Google update last October. And of course, it has also gone through social media algorithm changes. Now, my assumptions in our training is this: you know your target audience already. And the second assumption is that you know your topics and surrounding phrases, also known as keywords by SEO people, that you wanted to write about, or at least you have an idea what it's going to be. So let's begin. Now, here's another assumption. I am assuming that you all blog regularly, or you are planning to blog. If not, and if you do social media, I highly recommend that you publish blogs. I cannot stress that enough. Social media has its place, but you do not own it. I should be pushing it, right? Because I'm a social media marketer, but that's not the case. Because it is, for me, it is unwise to recognize, it's wise, by the way, to recognize that a social media platform is a tenancy. You do not own it. You don't have control over it. It's very unwise to build your castle on rented property, such as social media. Blogs published from your website is yours. You have control over it. Blogs shared on social media serve as entry points to your other sales pages. While your sales pages inform individuals about your problem-solving solutions or services, blogs demonstrate to the world how your product or service can effectively address those issues. So yes, do social media, but use it to amplify what your own content from your website says. That way, you can direct people back to where your castle is. Moreover, concerning the subject or our topic about content optimization, the sales pages or your blog, the sales pages, not your blogs, on your website are static. What do I mean by that? Once you publish it and once Google's crawlers have visited them and indexed them, and I'll explain to you what index means later, that's essentially the end of the line. This may lead to your page languishing deep within search results. However, with blogs that you regularly publish, you provide Google's crawlers with a reason to return time and time again. And by consistently publishing new posts, you continue to grow your online equity within your industry. Now, here's a true story. When I first started, I'd already be ecstatic when I see our article appear on page 2 of Google search results. But now, as you can see, according to Google, image 1 here, current ranking for the keyword for this article is number 1. Image number 2, currently ranked as number 2. Now, for image number 3, unsurprisingly, this article failed to rank in the top 20 results of Google. Yet, Google bestowed it the most coveted space in the search results page called the featured snippet. The featured snippet space is the topmost space on Google search results. This article surpassed the number 1 ranking post concerning the keyword. All our articles are written for both humans, our target audience, and the search engines. You will hear more about these two in this presentation because we will focus on these two. So optimize your content. So if you blog or if planning to blog, let's see how crowded it is. Okay, here's a little trivia. In 1999, there were only 23 blogs online. Only 23. I would love it to be that way. But now, though, there are about 2.5 billion blogs per year globally. And what does that mean every day? There are 6,912 blogs published every single day. And there are 4,800 blogs published every 60 seconds. Imagine that. Every 60 seconds, 4,800 blogs. Now, as you already know, on top of these numbers, currently, the internet is bursting to the seams with content. You know why? I know you can guess what it is. It's because of AI, right? I know content writers publish 100 blogs per day using AI. Now, if you use AI, you know that you can create content simply with the push of a button, right? And that's very fascinating to me. But here's the catch. You see, AI does not optimize content. It cannot optimize content. It needs you and me to optimize it, to influence it. Now, since Google is the authority when it comes to content, let's see what it says about content optimization because that's what our topic is. Per Google, an optimized content is a people-first content. People-first content creators focus first on creating satisfying content while also utilizing SEO best practices. So there's no getting away from SEO to bring searchers additional value, your target audience. In effect, what Google is saying is that if we want to create optimized content, we must write for two audiences. Now, audience number one, your people first, your target audience. This means that your content should satisfy their motivations, the reasons why they are looking for content or following you online. Their motivation could either be that your content gets a job done, gets a problem solved, or makes them experience an emotion. They feel happy or feel smarter. Then let's go to audience number two, the search engines. So in addition to the target audience, your content must also, not or, must also be clear and understandable for search engines like Google. So these are two sides of the coin. It's not either or, but it's both. No matter how long your content is, search engines can only understand content by analyzing signals like keywords, URL, structure or outline, etc. And we'll talk more about this later. If you haven't attempted to optimize these signals that I just mentioned properly, search engines may struggle to index your content. In case you're wondering what search engine indexing means, because I think this is the second time that I mentioned it, it means it is the process where a search engine such as Google organizes and stores online content in a central database, or its index, that's what it's called. Now let's tackle the first audience. To write a people-first content that will stand out in the crowded digital space, your key question, or my key question when I write an article is this: how do I read the mind of my target audience so I can give it to them, so I can write content about it? A people-first content that will help them get a job done, remember the motivations, get a problem solved, or make them experience an emotion. The answer is really simple. It is research, research, research. Now to research, I will show you some tools and how to use them in terms of content optimization. With the help of these tools, you can potentially predict, because that's the key here. You have to predict your audience, what your audience is thinking or is searching for. Then write a content about it. So what are these tools? These tools are right in front of you when you use Google. Yep, Google Suggest or autocomplete. People also ask or PAA and related searches. Let's look at each one of them. What is Google Suggest? Google Suggest is a feature of Google Search that suggests related searches such as these to help refine your search query. As you can see, the suggestions appear in a drop-down menu as you type into the Google search bar here. So it can help you find matching phrases to the main seed words you are typing. In this case, I used Katie's example. She posted this on LinkedIn. Stainless steel pipe, plastic pipe, culvert, and sewer pipes. These words here are tailored to reflect the most frequently used queries related to what you typed, offering searchers like you, or your audience, I mean, a more efficient way to find the information they need. So you might ask, so how does Google determine the suggestions, right? According to Google, we look at the real searches that happen on Google and show common and trending ones relevant to the characters that are entered. So back to the question I posed earlier, what is my target audience looking for so I can write about it? Check Google Suggest. Now, let's look at the Google Suggest example I showed you earlier. So here are the keywords I typed. Google offered alternative words, or experts call these alternative words as keywords. How should you use the information, this information from Google Suggest? So we're not trying to ideate here. Analyzing these suggestions, these ones here, can reveal high demand topics and questions that may be relevant to your content strategy, to your content optimization process. You can identify keywords. In this case, you see plastic culvert pipe, price, plastic culvert pipe diameters. I don't know what your niche is, but you can look at it that way. The principle is the same. Those are long phrases that you can use to rank for. Long key phrases are phrases with 4 to 5 words, and they are called by SEO experts as keywords. Also, you can use or brainstorm blog topics using these the Google Suggest results. There are a lot of potential blog topics that you could write using the keywords you have identified using Google Suggest. You may even go down a step further by looking at specific suggestions here, one at a time if you have time, that you could write using the keywords you have identified. Also, use the ideas you gathered for your content outline, the structure. Google Suggest can help you organize content in a logical way and make it easier for your people to read it or scan it. And of course, because I am a social media marketer, curate them, the ideas that you gathered for your social media posts. Next, still using the same keywords that I used earlier, to find out what your audience may be thinking so you can write about it, check out People Also Ask, or PAA. It is a feature on Google Search that provides a selection of questions related to the search terms you typed or entered. These are the questions that other users have frequently asked on the same topic. When you click the questions, each one of these, it expands to show an answer which Google generates from the most relevant and reliable sources. This feature can provide additional information and context about your search query and leads to a deeper understanding of the topic. So, how do you use the PAA results to help you stand out from the crowd to optimize your content? First, analyze the search intent. The PAA results reveal intent and other angles relevant to the topic you search. What is the search intent? Going back to the motivations I mentioned earlier, is it to get the job done? Is it to solve a problem? Or is it to make them experience something? Next, use the PAA questions for content inspiration. If you notice your content doesn't answer those related questions result, include it on your content as a heading. Or if not, you can use it as the key topic itself, the title of your blog. This helps satisfy user intent and search demand, the search engines. The third one, consider creating an FAQ and Q&A content to answer popular related questions. Also, remember to pay close attention to PAA results. If your competitor's content shows up in the PAA results, it may be worth considering answering the same question they are answering, especially if it is relevant to the topic you are writing about. So that way yours will appear here, hopefully, and not theirs. And then lastly, number 4, curate them for social media copies. Use PAA results as inspiration for different social media content like lists, quizzes, etc. Next, related searches. What is it? Google's related searches feature shows other search queries and terms that are closely relevant to the main keyword you searched for. By the way, I used exactly the same keywords that I showed you earlier. Related searches are based on what other users frequently search for in association with the term you entered. Google analyzes search patterns to identify connections between keywords and shows relevant variations. So these are the variations to the sewer pipe and long keywords I entered. This feature can be useful when you wish to explore alternative keywords or content related to your original search, or if your original search did not provide the exact results you were looking for. This is very useful, and how so? Well, many related searches are long tail keywords. Phrases, again, these are phrases with 3 to 5 words, which often have less competition and can be easier to rank for. Including these, if it makes sense in your content, can help you capture a niche audience. Make sure you address that specific search intent in the content. And public service announcement, please don't just cram in keywords. It should make sense, meaning it should flow naturally when someone reads it. Also, you can use it for content expansion. Analyze each of the related terms that appear to identify relevant subtopics, secondary keywords, and search intents. Now, this can help improve the depth and comprehensiveness of your content for both your target audience and the search engines. Also, third, analyze related searches to help you understand user intent better. And lastly, for structuring your content, use these related keywords. As an example, as subheadings, lists, comparison tables, and other sections where you also cover highly related topics on your long form content. This can help make sure your content is more relevant to what your audience is looking for and could improve your SEO. It makes your content get seen. So now you have done research using Google Suggest, related searches, and people also ask. This is very important, by the way, research is. Also, I shared some ideas on how to use the results. Now let's put all these together to create a people-first content that satisfy your audience and the search engines. The question is, where in your long-form content should you use this? We will go back to the signals that I mentioned earlier that Google checks or the Google crawlers check. First, your URL or the link. The URL is as important to the search engines as well as your target audience looking for the content that you are publishing. It should accurately indicate the content of your article. Note that the shorter the URL, the better. Why is that? It is very easy to remember. And in this example, I used either the plastic culvert pipe. I could use either the plastic culvert pipe or the plastic culvert pipe prices. The content is unmistakable to both search engines and humans alike. Next, your title. Not to be confused with the URL, but the title as well, the title of your blog. Include your primary keywords in the title of your blog, and I selected plastic culvert pipe from the research. Putting the focus words on the title satisfies a dual purpose. First, it shows your target audience what the content is. So you are technically matching the user's intent, which is great for optimization. So it's here. The user's intent is really clear. It shows also, second, the search engine what the content is about. Now, two things to remember about title and when you use the results you've gathered from your research. Keep your title short. Keep it between 40 to 60 characters. I know this is easier said than done, but the reason for this is so that Google doesn't rewrite or truncate your title. Second, put the keywords early in your title tag. I put the phrase here early. Putting it in the beginning of your title gives it more weight and makes it more likely that your page will be shown for those keywords. Next, the meta description. The title and the meta description are two of the most important SEO elements of your content. You can call it as your elevator pitch. Now, the meta description is not for the search engine. Nope. It is not for you either. It is for your target audience. So it should be crafted in a way that is persuasive and enticing so they will click your content, read it, and perhaps share it. The meta description looks like this. See the highlighted section, giving the reader more context to what the topic is about. And this is my example for meta description for this demonstration or for this training. Next, the headings. The headings should be well structured and logical. We don't see this when we read articles on the web, but on the back end, this is what we do to optimize content. We structure our headings. H1 for the title. If you're using WordPress, that's automatically H1, the title. And then there's H2 for keywords or key points you wanted to tackle, H3 for subheadings and such. For H2 and subsequent headings, use information you gathered from Google Autocomplete, PAA, or related searches. Put it here. The headings serve two audiences. First, the search engines. How so? Headings tell search engines what the main topics of your page are. It can help your page to get indexed and ranked accurately for relevant keywords. The subheadings undergird that topic. When I say subheadings, these are H3, H4, and so on. And this section, there's H2. And then under H2, if you want, you have H3, and so on. Now, the second is that the second audience is that your people, your target audience. Headings allow users to quickly look at your page and find the information they are looking for. Then read it. So if the content is right, naturally they will read it, and that increases the time your audience spends on your page. Google calls it dwell time, which gives the search engines a positive signal about your content as the right content that the searchers looking for. Next, images. Images with descriptive file name can appear in search results like the one I highlighted here. For humans, it is easy for us to know what the image is by looking at it, but not the search engines. They're not that smart. You have to tell the search engines what the image is. What do I mean by that? Give the image a descriptive file name. Image 101 or whatever gibberish may be there will not work. Use the results you discovered from your research, but keep it short, like this one here. For example, plastic covered pipe with a dash between words. Please put a dash between words because the search engines will put their own gibberish in the space if you don't put the dash between the words. And that will ruin your content plan or content optimization plan. And of course, as you can see, I use the search terms I discovered from research for the file name. So that's the first part, all about optimizing your long form content. And that's already a lot to process. Remember, you must do two things here, satisfying your people. And I've shown you tools and ways to research how to get into the mind of your audience so you can deliver the content. And second, satisfying the search engines. And I've shown you how to use the information you gathered so that your content is understood by the search engine unmistakably as such. The next part is going to be easier if you have done the research already. That's why research is important, because here you can repurpose what you discovered. So let's continue. Social media platforms are alternative search engines where a lot of users are on. In the social media world, your content should also satisfy both your audience and the search engines, Google, and the search engines in the platform, right within the platform. People expect some benefit when they look for something or follow someone on social media. So what are the perceived needs of your social media audience? Well, it's the same. They want to get a job done, solve a problem, or experience an emotion. If they then perceive that your social media content provides value to them, in return, they will give you their time, their attention, their email, and eventually their money. I won't cover all social media platforms, but you will get an idea of what you must do with the rest that I am not covering here. The principle is the same. So first, YouTube. YouTube has 122 million users on the site daily. And if your target audience live in the US, 62% of them are using YouTube. Also, YouTube is the second most popular search engine globally. So if you produce videos, you should optimize your content too. Now, how do you optimize your content on YouTube or for YouTube? Let's see. Like your long form content, your YouTube video should answer a question or cover a topic that would pique your people's interest. Still here, remember these three here, motivations? Using the PAA results, you already know what your audience is looking for. So I suggest to create a content answering one PAA topic at a time. For the example I have here highlighted in yellow, these gentlemen's video titles are short and direct to the point, all covering a problem or a question of his target audience. If you look at the rest of these videos, it is getting millions of views, not just followers. See? Next, how do you use the information you gathered from PAA, Google Suggest, and related searches? You can use those on two places of your YouTube content, the video title. Titles play a large part in getting your video content shown in the search results. It's not about how great you produced the video, it's the texts that you use. And one of those is the title. So make sure the key terms are in the first 5-7 words of your title. Why? People don't have time to figure out what your video content is about. They should see that information right away. Otherwise, they'd move on. And the next, the video description. Here you can actually write as many as 5,000 characters for your YouTube video description. And that's about 800 words. But for best results and for those of us that do not have time, use around 125 characters, which could be 17 to 30 words here. And then also pepper this section here with appropriate key phrases. And again, do not cram keywords here. It should flow naturally. Next is Facebook. With nearly 3 billion users worldwide, Facebook remains the most popular social media platform globally according to Statista as of September 2023. Many of your users or target audience likely have an active presence on Facebook. Maybe not all, but some, especially those who use other social platforms like LinkedIn. Research shows that LinkedIn users tend to use Facebook as their second go-to network for connecting with friends, family, and contacts. Externally, your Facebook business page and posts could appear on Google search results. Now, similar to Google search suggestion, Facebook also has search predictions like this that you can use. When you click one of each predictions, groups, videos, events, posts with plastic pipes will appear on the page. The second image is what appeared when I clicked plastic culvert pipe, which is this one. I selected this on Facebook. So how do you optimize your Facebook business page using the information you gathered to satisfy the search engines and your target audience? While Facebook does not control how content appears on Google, you have the ability to influence that. How? Put your main key phrase in the company description. Not too long though, otherwise Facebook will cut it off. But your key phrase should be here of your business. Second, pepper your captions with relevant keywords naturally that you discovered in your research to get your content shown, not just by Facebook within Facebook, but also by external search engines like Google when people look for your product or service. Next is X, or Twitter. With over 300 million active users, X has become an extremely crowded social media platform over the years. And of course, because it's also one of the OGs or old guards of social media platforms. So it is established already. X is great for real-time search. It serves up real-time content in its internal search results, whether it's image, video, or text. Also, your content could appear on Google, not just within Twitter. The first image is the Twitter search results using the key phrase that I found when I did the research that I showed you for the key terms that I showed you earlier. Here I searched for plastic culvert pipe. Twitter gave me options on where I could find content right within Twitter on the tabs marked top, latest, people, media, etc. Now, any Twitter content, any Twitter content containing a combination of the words plastic, culvert, pipe could potentially appear on either of these tabs. Now, the second image, and this is a perfect example of what I mean about tweets appearing on Google search results. We were having an earthquake when I was doing this particular section of the presentation. So I searched for earthquake news on Google. Here, that's what I used. This is what showed up on search, earthquake on Twitter. Now, the sheer volume of tweets and accounts make it challenging for your Twitter post to stand out from the crowd. So when writing content for X or Twitter, remember that your audience's motivations haven't changed, and they could also search inside Twitter about it. Next is, how should you optimize for X or Twitter using PAA, Google Suggest, and related searches results you discovered? Use the research results to discover new hashtags that you could use on your tweets. Next, look at people also ask results. Create X posts or Twitter posts around common questions and searches that you have discovered. And next, if you haven't done this yet, use the information to optimize your Twitter profile for visibility so that when your audience looks for your product or service, your profile could potentially appear in Twitter search results and on search engines like Google. Now, throughout this presentation, you learned that for your content to stand out, you must optimize your content for two audiences. First, your target audience, and I show you tips on how to optimize your content and make it relevant to your target audience. You can do this by getting into the mind of your audience using Google Autocomplete, PAA, and related searches. Second, the search engines. I also showed you tips on how to optimize for search engines like Google and alternative search engines like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I know this is a lot to process to those of you new to this concept of content optimization, but if you have questions, I'll move now to the sessions window so I can check if you guys have posted some questions.